Hi my lovelies, and welcome back to the channel. You guys feel so surreal to see this. I welcome you guys back to this lovely space. So thank you guys so much for your patience, and for everyone who has checked up on me. We'll get into why the sudden disappearance much later on in the vlog. But this is just to say we are back. Before we get into that, let's get a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's video is proudly sponsored by Coee Bags. They have sent me this lovely Loe bag, and I just want to quickly unbox that with you and talk to you about, how amazing this brand is. The OGs on the channel know this brand by now. They've sent us a couple of items in the past, but today we're unboxing this grey one. This is a really lovely bag, and I just got this small one just to run errands and carry on. They have a ton of items on their website, so please check them out. Further details will be in the description box. You can also benefit amazing discounts from using my link. So let's get into today's video, you guys.
Hi my lovelies, and welcome back to this channel. Welcome. It has been a hot second. I think it's been 5 weeks plus since I've been away, and we'll get into the gist of it and what led to the impromptu disappearance. My face is a bit dry and ashy at the moment. That's just because I've had a shower and I'm just trying to prepare myself for tomorrow. Like you guys know, I try to do some sort of skin prep before I have a main event, or before Sunday, which is a day that I usually put on most of my makeup. So I'm going in with my micellar water, and I'm just going to be talking you through what happened and what led to the sudden disappearance. So that's basically what this video is about. And also I just want to say a really quick thank you to everyone who reached out and showed support and was concerned about the sudden disappearance. It was not planned. If someone told me that I would go off YouTube for 5 weeks when I went off without prior notice, I would have said it's a lie. But anyway, thank you to everyone for your messages. You guys are amazing. Those who reached out, DMs, on Instagram, on LinkedIn. You guys, I'm humbled, honestly. I'm genuinely humbled. Anyway, this is the gunk that's on my face. I have just exfoliated, so seeing that is still a bit surprising. Right, so let's start at the very beginning. I'm just going to go ahead and start shaping my eyebrows for tomorrow. At the start of the year, I was taking stock of my accounts, just checking where I was at with my lifestyle channel and my food channel. For those who do not know, I have a food channel here on YouTube. It's called Cook with Tola Lusi, and I was just checking where I was at with my channels and just trying to see what I can do to better improve my processes. Because when I started my channels, I did a lot of trial and error, so it involved me opening up a number of accounts to try out some of the features on YouTube, see what worked best, and finally settled on one email account. So in the process of doing all of that, I had a bunch of email accounts that I had opened up, and it was just looking a little bit messy on the back end. So I decided to do what any reasonable person would do, right? I decided to take out the accounts that I no longer needed, so that I had a more streamlined list of email accounts. And also, it's also important to mention that for those who are already into the YouTube partnership, you have your AdSense account. So that is linked to your YouTube account, and that's where YouTube pays you for your content. So for those who are being monetized, you have an AdSense account that is then linked to your YouTube account, and that's where you get your payment. So for most people, they tend to use the email accounts that they set up their YouTube channel for their AdSense accounts. But when I was setting mine up, I was advised by some of the gurus on YouTube, not saying it's their fault, but I was advised to use a separate account for my AdSense, just so that if I was hacked, I mean my email account that I set the YouTube channel on, if that account was hacked, I still had control of my money and where AdSense or where YouTube would pay me my money, right? So it looks like it was a foolproof method, and honestly, I didn't question it. It was sounded like a good idea. It looks like a two-factor authentication sort of precaution, right, at the time, and that was what informed that decision. So that was what I did when I was setting up my account. So you guys know already that in my bid to delete the accounts that I wasn't using, I did not remember, because obviously I entered the YouTube partnership in my first year of starting my YouTube journey, and let's just say that by wishing me, I completely forgot what my AdSense account was linked to, and one of the emails that I deleted that I thought I did not need was the email that my AdSense account was linked to. So automatically my revenue on YouTube was suspended, and I did not know. I did not know, because on the outside it doesn't look like anything has gone wrong, but it was until when I went on my YouTube studio, that was when I noticed that in Gogoti Shele, that was when I knew that something had happened. And this might not make sense to those who are not in the YouTube space, but when you go on your YouTube studio, you're going to see your watch hours in the last 28 days. You're going to put a prototype on the screen so you see what I'm talking about. You also get to see your revenue for the past 28 days, and instead of seeing 4 tabs at the top, I was only seeing 2. And I was wondering, why is my interface looking like this? So what's going on? I didn't know what was going on. I eventually realized what happened, and that was roughly around 5 or 7 hours after I'd done what I'd done. You guys, let's just say that my world just froze. Like, I didn't even know how much of a hold this thing had on me. I mean, my YouTube account. I didn't know how much effect it would have. In fact, if I had predicted how much I would have felt, I probably would have just left everything a mess the way it was. But I was dumbfounded for the first few seconds after I realized what happened. I didn't know whether to cry or to scream or to shout or to just give up. I just felt numb. I didn't make any sound. It was just, I think I was in shock. So I just stayed there because I was lying down in bed. I just laid there and I don't know. I received this in a PR package from the brand, and I'm just going to try this out. This is Roche-Posay's Cicaplast Baume, I think that's how it's called. This is the B5 Plus, and this is safe to use on anywhere on your body. I've been told that people actually use this on their lips, and it's great for hydration and all of that. But anyway, I digress. You guys, the cry that I wanted to cry, but the tears didn't come. I was just numb. I was really numb. I didn't feel anything. I just didn't know how to act. H factor. I didn't know how to act. I was just there. Funny enough, I don't remember what day of the week it was, but I just know that I was not okay. I really wasn't. I didn't say anything to anybody. I just kept it to myself for a whole 24 hours. But before that day was over, I tried to recover the account that the AdSense was linked to. But unfortunately, when I tried to restore my AdSense, I was told that I cannot do anything until 21 days after the account has been closed, which naturally made the situation worse. It made the situation worse because here I am trying to make sense of the matter and just trying to reverse this terrible thing that I've done. Like, only a couple of hours, less than 10 hours after it had happened. I mean, And then I was being told that there's nothing I can do about it. This is giving sunscreen. The feel of it is giving sunscreen. It's really hydrating though. They told me I have to give it 21 days and there's nothing that can be done. At that point, I had resigned in my head that, I'm just going to let this thing ride it out and it's probably for the best, right? I kept it to myself and I didn't say anything to anyone for a good 24 hours because obviously still trying to process the whole thing and just trying to make sense of what happened really. My back end was frozen and there was nothing I could do. Looking back on the whole situation, I probably should have handled it a little better, but I mean, I guess it was a time to reflect as well and, sort of realize how much of a hold YouTube had on me, because once I realized that I could not have this avenue anymore, it affected me in ways that I did not imagine. I could not imagine. It was a really humbling experience because that was not the way I wanted to start the year. And it was just at the point where I had announced that I was going to start creating content around being a content creator, and then this happened. It was a really shocking, humbling experience, and I honestly will not wish it on anyone. For those who do not know what the implication of that is, it simply meant that all of my revenue from the last time I collected payments, and I'm not one of the creators who I've set my limit to a very high threshold, so I do not get paid every month. I just like the money to pile up a bit so that at least when it's a chunk, I'm able to get the money, probably use it or reinvest it into my channel. For example, buying my DJI or buying new equipment like lights, mics, whatever. Just something to elevate my creativity and just be able to put out content. So I try not to get the money every month. I just try to keep it in my AdSense, and I really rely on the revenue that comes in from like brand collaborations. And that's what really gets me every month. The last time I collected payments was sometime early last year, so you can tell that it was quite a few change on there, and you guys know how dedicated I was to Vlogmas. So all of my revenue for Vlogmas, all of my revenue from almost early last year to Vlogmas up until January, all of that was just somewhere. All of the videos that were watched from when that happened to when it was resolved, all of that was not monetized. I had one video go viral. In that space, I had about 8,500 views on that video. All of that was not monetized. I lost money. It's quite painful because YouTube is that one space that I keep telling people to come up on, because it's a place where your creativity always pays. It pays out continuously. You never make all of your money on one video at one time. You get reoccurring views on your content. So when you create one content, it always picks up. Sometimes someone else might create another content. It gives you a ripple effect. Your video picks up, you get a couple of views, and that's what happened with one particular video on my channel. I will probably insert screenshots somewhere. So I lost momentum. I'm still now trying to build up all of that. 21 days passed, and I obviously was able to restore my AdSense email account and link that to my YouTube account. And obviously all of that is sorted to some extent because I still have to get a fresh pin. I just wanted to give an honest explanation as to why I was away and what happened. I'm fine now, because it was not a funny time at all. The effect of what happened is still lingering because I'm now pushing myself to create content, because in all of that time I did not pull my videos that I recorded on my DJI to edit. I did not edit anything. I just left everything and let cobwebs settle and everything. So even my intro, I don't remember it. So I'm trying to find my way back, because 21 days, it's enough to break a cycle. It's enough to alter a routine that you have been stuck with for a couple of years. I'm used to churning out content. I'm just now finding my way back to creativity, falling in love again with creating content. And I think that by unburdening myself with this video, I think I'm able to get closure and move on, close that chapter, take the lessons that I should have learned or I should be learning from this experience and move on. I see this as starting afresh, and that's probably why I've changed my intro as well. I've changed my DP here on YouTube. I've changed my banner. I changed a couple of things because I just want to have a fresh start. I needed to be forced to hit a reset button because I felt like I was falling into a rut shortly before this happened. Actually, I think I need to make a confession because I was really starting to get tired of creating content because obviously the views being what it was or what it is, I don't want to say anything negative because I want to believe that all things work together for my good. And what happened is just a lesson in humility. It's also turning my focus back to who and what is important, because I don't think my content will be changing. It's still faith-based, it's still lifestyle-based, it's still authentic. I'm still not going to use clickbait. I'm still not going to pull you in with false thumbnails or whatever. I'm just going to continue doing what I feel led to do, and I know it'll work out fine. I know. So yeah, thank you again to everyone who has watched up until now. I know I've rambled on for too long, and this is probably my most talkiest video to date, but I just want to put this all out there and deal with it, close that chapter, learn my lessons and move on. So I've trimmed my brows and I just use this really lovely tool that I got from Sheen. It's really handy and it just keeps my brows shaped. So I shaped it just the one time and I just use this to keep touching it up so that it stays shaped. So you can invest in this if you have your brows professionally shaped, so you just keep maintaining the shape that's there. And I will be back with my full lash extension and sign out. And we're back. This is the full look. This is my finished look. I'm just going to put my hair in my bonnet and I'm going to go to bed. Thank you so much for watching today's vlog with me. Thank you so much for being patient with me throughout this whole process. I will see you guys in subsequent vlogs.